As I enter my house, I hear Jean cooking in the kitchen. I call out to him. I'm home, and Violet is here too.
Alright, dinner's almost done.
I go into the kitchen and see that Jean cooked some steamed rice and vegetables. I guess I'll be sticking with my diet tonight. The conversation I had with Violet on the way home reminded me how lucky I am to have met him. I don't remember him saying anything special to me, nor I to him when we met. It doesn't matter anyway. Whether skill, chance, or fate, I'm happy we're together now. I go up behind him, put my arms around him, and kiss his cheek. Have I told you today how much I love you? He smiles, turns around, and kisses me on the lips.
You just did.
I squeal a bit as he reaches it down and kisses me on the rear. He likes doing that, and honestly I enjoy it as well.
I didn't even know that.
Jeez, you two, look at your room!
I blush a little. Did you want to eat dinner with us, Violet?
Sure, though I should probably call Dad and let him know where I am. He should be getting home any time now.
Good idea.
You know how formal we are here. Just serve yourself up when you're ready to eat.
I will.
She pulls out her phone. I get down 3 plates from the cupboard. I hand one to Jean, set another on the counter for Violet, and put a scoop of rice on the third for myself. I then put some of the steamed broccoli, carrots, and peas on my plate as well. Completely tasteless. Ugh. At least it's wholesome. While Jean serves himself, I go to the refrigerator, get out some hot sauce, and put it on the rice. It will help give it some flavor. I look down and see Markov looking up at me. Go eat your kibble. He only wants my food because it's mine. Honestly, I suspect if I offered this to him, he'd probably just take a couple sniffs, then go to his bowl even without the hot sauce. I'm betting his dog food has more flavor than this. I go into the living room with my plate and sit down on the couch. Jean comes out with his plate and sits down next to me.
I'm curious, is there a reason Violet came here instead of going home tonight?
She wanted to talk to me after work. When we got here, I insisted she come in because of the weather. He looks out the window at the snow. It's coming down even harder now. If this keeps up, they will probably cancel school tomorrow.
Good idea. I know it's only a couple miles, but I wouldn't want her walking home in this. What does she want to talk to you about?
Girl stuff. He looks at me questioningly for a bit, and then shrugs his shoulders and takes a bite of food. Violet walks in with a plate of rice and vegetables.
Dad's home, and I let him know where I was. He said he'd let Mom know so she can pick me up on her way home, but it'll be about an hour until she gets off work. It also might take her longer than usual to get home if the roads get bad.
You're welcome to stay as long as it takes.
You can even stay the night in the spare room if necessary. I'm not certain if I feel comfortable driving Violet home and back in this weather.
Feel like playing a board or card game, Violet?
After your homework, of course.
I don't have any tonight.
Oh, good. I would love to teach both of you the crew. I've just been waiting for a third player.
Jean had been talking about that game ever since he picked it up on a sale at the local board game store a week ago. It's a cooperative game he bought after reading about it online, but it needs at least 3 players. That's a common problem for us. We've gone through all the good 2-player games we've found over the years. That's not even taking into account the fact that Jean and I play so many board games together, we know each other's preferences and strategies very well. Do we have time to finish before Siri gets here? I strongly dislike starting a game and having to quit before it's finished.
It doesn't take very long, and we will easily be able to get through quite a few rounds, even learning. So long as we're careful, we can play while eating as well.
Sure, let's check it out.
As Jean leads with the green 8, I see his hands are shaking. His injury is really bothering him right now. He probably would have gone to bed earlier already if Violet wasn't here giving us a chance to play this game. Violet plays the green 3. Good, that completes that task. I'm already out of green cards, so I play the blue 2 in order to get it out of my hand. He leads with the pink 9. Violet plays the pink 4. Since Jean is winning the trick anyway, I play the pink 3. Violet then communicates in-game that the pink 6 is her lowest value pink card left in her hand. Jean thinks for a bit.
What numbers were played last trick?
The 9, the 4, and the 3. He grins and lays down the pink 5. Violet lays down the pink 6. I shake my head and lay down the pink 8.
Ah!
No!
Sorry.
Oh, that's another failure.
There was nothing I could do. It was the only pink card I had left.
Why didn't you slow it? Slough it? Slew it? I don't know how to pronounce that word. You had the chance.
Slow it.
Throw it away on a trick when another color was led. You played a blue card when green was led a couple tricks ago. Or played it under the pink 9 I played last trick.
Throw it away. It's a powerful card that can win.
But by winning the trick, you lost the game. Violet needed to win that pink 6. When you didn't slough it, I assumed Violet had the pink 8 and played accordingly.
Yeah, I only had the pink 7.
I crumble and shake my head. I'm normally good at picking up new games. I'm really struggling to wrap my head around this one. While I've heard of trick-taking games like bridge, I've never actually played one before and it doesn't make sense. Why couldn't we be playing coup? I love coup and I'm really good at it. People think I'm too honest to bluff, so I often get away with it. It's also a fast-paced game with cards that Jane and I can't play together because it requires 3 people. I hear the front door open.
Knock, knock. Hey, Mom.
We're in the living room.
Sorry I'm late. The snow is really going down tonight.
How bad is it?
The highways are still okay so long as you go slow.
Pardon me.
The side streets are an absolute mess, though.
I'm glad you didn't end up in a snowdrift driving here. You and Violet are more than welcome to stay the night if you need to.
I appreciate the offer, but I think we'll be fine getting home. Salvador Street has recently been plowed, so if I go the long way home past the high school, we won't have any trouble. But we should hurry before the snow builds up anymore, so get your things, boy. Everything is in my school bag by the door. Okay, let's go then.
Goodbye, thanks for visiting.
Thank you for letting her shelter here from the weather.
It's never a problem.
You know we're always happy to help. What else are you good for?
I know, and I just want to make certain, we don't take you guys for granted. Oh, are we still on for Christmas Eve?
Yes, dinner is at 5 and then we'll be watching Hogfather afterwards as usual.
Just a heads up, Edward and Augie have confirmed that they will be able to come this year.
Wonderful. I haven't seen them since their wedding last summer. After years of breaking up and getting back together, Edward and Akiko finally got married to each other. It seems strange to realize that Sayori and Monika are now in-laws of each other. But at the same time, it also seems perfectly natural as well.
If you hadn't miscarried, Edward might have married Hope instead of making you and Sayori family.
That means with Monika's family, Natsuki, and even Himari coming, it's going to be quite the Christmas Eve party. It's going to be nice to have everyone here except Meredith and her family.
And of course James, David, and Helma. Natsuki confirmed she's coming. That's really late for her.
She said she'll probably sleep through the entire movie, but that she's coming anyway.
Oh, I thought we were leaving. Oh yes, I'd better get going.
Stay safe.
Sayori goes out the front door with Violet. I look down and see that Markov had climbed on the coffee table and is eating my food. Markov, get down from there, bad dog. You know better than that. Markov jumps down off the coffee table with a guilty expression. Even though I'm a little hungry, I had hardly touched it, as even with the hot sauce it was so bland. I take all our dirty dishes into the kitchen. I throw what Markov didn't eat away and rinse our plates in the sink. I don't get any more for myself. I can afford to skip a meal, and despite how wholesome it is, it tasted terrible. I put the leftovers away in the refrigerator. I go back to the living room where I see Jean still sitting on the couch. You okay? I saw your injury was starting to act up.
Yeah, I was having a ton of fun playing that game with you two, but I'm very fatigued.
Do you need help getting to bed? I see him think about it. That means he does need help but doesn't want to ask for it. Come on, give me your arm. I'll help you to the lift. He sighs, lets me lift him up, and leans heavily on me as we go towards the lift. Jean collapses onto the bed.
Thank you for the help. I really hate having to use the walker.
Of course, my love. I start unbuttoning his shirt. He's too shaky to deal with buttons himself right now. I'm tempted to try to seduce him right now, but I know that even if his mind wants sex, that his body is not up for it tonight.
I don't know what I'd do without you.
I don't know what I'd do without you. Do you realize we've been married for longer than my entire life before our wedding? He thinks for a bit.
You're right. The same will be true for me next year as well.
In some ways, it doesn't seem so long ago. I finish helping Gene remove his clothes, and he then lays down underneath the covers.
I saw you turn the lights off as we came up here. Were you planning on going to bed right now?
Yes, it's been a long day. I notice him watching me as he lays in bed. I smirk and begin slowly unbuttoning my blouse while giving him the look. His eyes grow wide as I start doing a seductive dance for him as I continue to remove my clothes. One thing about being married together for so long, we are well familiar with what the other finds arousing.
Hon, it's not that I'm not enjoying this, I am, but you know, when my injury acts up, I can't.
He looks down embarrassingly towards his groin. I continue to dance for him while removing the rest of my clothing. I know, but now you'll be dreaming about this. I throw my bra across the room, baring my breasts at him. All night. So in the morning when you're feeling better, you can show me what you dreamt about.
Got me all worked up and expect me to sleep.
I smile as I turn out the light and get into my side of the bed to sleep. I may not be young, but I've still got it.
I probably don't need to 18 plus that one. November, year 39.
I skip ordering tea and go sit down at an empty table. I've been waiting all day for this. Ever since Natsuki told us she found a lump on her breast, we've all been worried about her. Today she is supposed to get the results from her doctor and let us know how serious it is. I wish I could have checked my phone earlier, but work has been extremely busy today, so I haven't been able to.
Doc says it's a benign tumor. Gonna need surgery to remove it, but nothing more serious. Great to hear that, Nat. Thank goodness.
Yes, that is good news. I let out a sigh of relief. Indeed, I am quite relieved. Shortly after I send the text, my phone rings with a voice call from Natsuki. Hello, Natsuki. That was a fast response.
I was waiting for your text. I knew you'd be on your lunch break around now.
So it's definitely benign?
Yeah, like I said in the chat, my doctor wants me to have surgery to have it removed, but nothing serious. Definitely no radiation or chemo.
You don't know how happy I am to hear that. I have been so worried.
Tell me about it. I was thinking that it was completely unfair. I mean, I don't even have any breasts to speak of, not like you, and so for me to get breast cancer.
You know that large breasts aren't as much fun as media would have you believe.
Oh, I know. I've heard you complain enough about back pain over the years. And honestly, while I was a little jealous of your breasts when we were younger, I've been fine with my body type for years. Still, it just seems like I'd be the least likely out of all of us to get it.
It can affect anyone.
True that.
How was your father doing, by the way? You haven't said anything more about him being in the hospital since telling us about the lump. Last time I spoke to her, Himari said they were planning to release him soon. Natsuki sighs.
Papa, the lump, seems like life is throwing everything it can at me right now. The doctors at the hospital said he has congestive heart failure. They drained the fluid out of his lungs so he can breathe, and yes, they did release him.
Oh good, so he's going to be okay. I hear Natsuki sniffle as she starts to cry.
He's on hospice care. That means there's no way to cure him, and they're not even going to try to extend his life. Instead, the only plan is to keep him as comfortable as possible until the end.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. Do you know how long he has to live?
Hard to say, but they say a couple weeks at the most. He could live longer if he stayed at the hospital where they can keep him drained of fluids. But Papa absolutely refused life support. He let everyone know he'd rather die quickly in the comfort of his own home than drag it out hooked up to machines.
I don't know your father very well, but I can picture him doing that.
So he's home in his apartment with an oxygen machine and a ton of pills.
So how are you doing with this? I know how much you love him.
Fortunately, I had a ton of vacation time saved up and I'm burning it all. I've temporarily moved in with him to help care for him as long as necessary. He's not really able to manage his own medications, and as he gets closer to the end, he'll become bedbound. The hospice people are really helpful and have been teaching me how to care for him, though.
That's good, but doesn't really answer my question. How are you doing? Losing a parent you love is really difficult. I remember losing my mother. And I know you lost your mother when you were both young, but this is going to be different since you will be caring for him at home instead of waiting in a hospital. My mother took care of my grandmother when her lung cancer became aggressive. I was only 8 at the time, but I saw much of it. It wasn't quick or painless. She was soon bedbound, and my mother had to be with her constantly.
The hospice people told me he's going to need lots of help.
It's not just feeding him, giving him his medication, or even changing his diapers. My grandmother got confused. She would scream at my mother for her cigarettes, even though they were the reason she had lung cancer. Of course, Mom couldn't let her have them because of the oxygen tanks. In some ways, it got worse when my grandmother was bedbound, as she would want to get out of bed even though she was too weak and unsteady to do so. We didn't have a hospital bed, so Mom had to be with her constantly to make sure she didn't try to get up. We didn't have any other family, so it was just Mom and I. Mom couldn't get any sleep because she had to keep an eye on my grandmother. After school, I would come home and take over for Mom, and she would just crash. But she had to get back up in time for me to go to bed and get a full night's sleep. I remember Mom so often dozing in a chair in my grandmother's bedroom, startling awake every time my grandmother moved or said something. Trying desperately to keep my grandmother from hurting herself as she got more and more confused.
That sounds horrible.